watching Zacharias expectantly.
Not everyone went with Zacharias, so...
No, but sort of, well, what are your characters doing anyway?
Azurius right now will be as the same as before. He's locked himself inside of one of the rooms at the manor with his altar. What he's doing, no one's exactly sure, though maybe you hear some strange words being said. Unless someone knocks on my door specifically, in that case, things will change.
So, is me and Margaret gonna knock on his door and then hide all the time?
Oh, just short. If you're doing anything specific. Well,
Catch is not doing anything interesting.
Zacharias, could you do a perception check? Perception check.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
you've
I can.
got the right person to do it.
Yes, I can.
I assume you can make those for the Akinai, right? Seeing like the person does.
It sees
Yeah.
through it,
Yep,
so.
count that. Zacharias notices as he gets about 600 feet up, a sort of weird shimmering in the air further up.
Okay. Does he recognize this as some sort of magical effect?
It is most likely a magical effect, yes.
Okay, can I make a spellcraft check to figure out what it is?
He can attempt, certainly.
Zacharias
That's
does not
pretty
sense.
damn good.
You are insane.
He's an evil arch wizard. Like, this is what he does.
It
He's
seems
Yoda.
that
Do or
this
do
is
not.
some form of divine ward made with quite powerful divine magic. Clearly, something very powerfully magical is up there, and clearly that magic is lending itself out to some form of mechanism that would most likely stop magic from functioning, or at least sort of dispel it at certain increments of time if it is above this limit.
Alright, does that mean that that the ward can dispel like something once every set time, or does it mean that it has, like, in a day it has X number of dispel attempts, or how do you what do you mean when you say increments of time?
Yes, it seems that with a certain... It wouldn't
Frequency?
reset immediately, but rather fast. It would again try to eliminate magical anything, really.
And would Zacharias then think that this is sort of unlimited? This can go on forever, like
It seems so.
Okay.
Until whatever it is disabled, or whatever power source is destroyed.
So basically, if we were to fly up here, that would disable it, or
Most likely, you would plummet towards the sea.
Except me and Cash, who don't use magic for flying.
right, to use wings. Okay.
Well, the wings might get dispelled. Well, yours wouldn't. Aren't yours like made of fire, Dark?
But they're not magical wings; they're supernatural.
They are supernatural.
Oh, okay.
So the real question is, where do we get catapults from?
No, we can certainly solve this with magic somehow, I think. Alright, so there's some sort of anti-magic dispel field up there. It's 600 feet up. That means it's 100 feet or so to climb to get up to the temple.
Yes.
Alright.
If you can make sure you can't cheat, huh?
Oh, we can shoot up to here at least. So what I would do is probably fly up here and use shape stone to like create like a platform to stand up here. And from here we can make the last like 100 feet climb up there.
And you just shape stone a staircase?
I can, yeah.
Well, wouldn't that be inside the magic area where it can't?
It depends on exactly what the magic area does. If it dispels any effect, yeah, that'd be problematic. I hope it doesn't is all over the mountain, because that would negate all magic. Like, it would be impossible to use magic up there, and that would be problematic. But I don't. Would Zacharias think that it is actually impossible to use any form of magic up in the temple?
It would most likely not be possible. Anything that is instantaneous and doesn't have a lasting effect would most likely be fine. It doesn't seem to be anti-magic, it simply seems to remove magic. Such a fireball would be over too fast for it to react to.
So a expulsion field,
but something like a mage armor would disappear.
That is...
So basically you're telling everyone's defenses will be crashed.
Yeah, we will have no wards at all.
And for you guys who are quite squishy, that's going to be quite painful.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, this seems...
Also, this far up, the light is quite strong.
God damn it.
So, do you remember that spell I said about the protective penumbra?
Yeah, well, it's
it was
magic.
me that brought it up.
Work.
Yeah, so as long as it has a
One of us did.
duration, we'll get the spell then.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh,
What about
man.
mutagen? Would that be dispelled?
That's
Likely
not
not.
magic, I believe.
Alchemy.
But that means my AC would be like 14 or something. And I would have no mirror images.
Do they have any idea what would happen to magic items?
Most likely nothing.
Okay.
Oh, awesome.
But man, that is a huge problem. But usually these spells have some sort of focus, right?
Huh?
I mean, there's something... I mean, if Zacharias has got a permanence or something, he's doing that in a magic circle, right? So would there be similarly a focus for this magic somewhere? Likely?
The phoenix itself might be the focus.
Maybe.
And
There
that's
certainly
problem.
is something up there that is causing this. Some
source.
great power source is basically like you can't just make something like this and have it sustain itself.
Zacharias will test the ward, see if it has reset, and send the eye up once again to the temple, see if it has reset in the, like, I don't know, 3 minutes or whatever it took for him to cast
2.5.
He gets a little further, yes. And then it's kicked out.
I couldn't hear your answer before. Would mutagen be dispelled or?
No, it is like it's not a magical effect.
Alchemy.
Okay, cool.
So
Alright, we can...
feel that dispels magic.
How far out does it extend from the mountain, though? Is it 100 feet in every direction?
He's not sure. That would be likely, though.
Because then I could fly up and hover like 100 feet away. And,
Do you want to risk
and
it?
just look inside.
For fireballs in.
Well, there's two problems. First of all, if the aura extends further than you think, then you're going to fall.
Yeah.
I have
if
spells for that.
Featherfall.
I have
Phoenix
Featherfall,
decides-
it's okay.
Yeah, did you prepare
And-
for on impact?
Never fall, yeah. Well, you would still fall quite a long ways and get wet.
You know, if the Phoenix decide to
And-
follow, that would be pretty great, because then we don't have to fight them up there.
Well, and if you fall, you're gonna get captured up there.
What?
No, the point is if he's flying over the edge of the cliff,
Oh, I thought you
so
wanted
he'd
to
be
fly
over
over
the water.
Okay, then fine.
So the point then if it failed, he would just fall down to the ground and do Featherfall.
Mhm.
Which Cash
Or-
can do.
or you-
Cash can do
yeah.
a spell like that.
Yeah, Cash
Yeah,
can
she
not
can do
only
it.
fly with non-magical means, but she's also quite...
If she gets somehow knocked out the sky, she has Featherfall as well. So.
But she can't really see due to the glare, can she?
Yeah, that's a problem. She's blind.
God damn it. I don't like that place.
You don't like any of this.
Not just the
It
place.
does indeed seem like the glare is very unfriendly and sort of. It's almost as if you don't get warm when it sort of shines at you, but it's almost as if you can anywhere feel intense heat, sort of attempting to burn you.
That is probably the Phoenix. I'm gonna be
I mean, it
so dead against the Phoenix.
It depends on the power source that has this field. I mean, we need to somehow get rid of this field. Otherwise, there is no
If I-
point in going up there. We simply cannot fight the Phoenix without
if I-
our wards. It's simply not possible. It would kill us in a round.
If I recall, there was a I believe I remember at some point there being mentioned there is a massive fire up there. which could be the
Do
center
you
of
know
it.
that one of the Desitor told you that one of the fires were the three holy flames were most likely on the mountain?
Which that might be it. The holy fire is the power source.
Maybe.
These
It makes
three
perfect sense.
together are known to imbue anyone who is a true believer with magical powers.
It might be, but I'm not sure if they have that power, if they have the dispelling power also.
Well, my point is, if it protects the actual cathedral, then it's likely they have some kind of protection on themselves.
Yeah, and that's my point. It's probably not the fire itself that causes the dispel field. It's probably something else up there. It's like they have right. The fire is here. It protects the cathedral. And to protect the fire, we build at the top of this mountain and put down this anti-magic field thing around it.
I'm just pointing out the possibility of that being the case is not impossible.
Could I get a history or religion check? I mean, assuming that you get back and talk about this.
Yeah, sure.
History or religion?
I will continue to try to probe to try to find exactly how far I can fly up and around that thing. I mean, even 100 feet away, I can still see a whole lot with my perception.
You can manage to sort of get up and around, and it basically seems when you take a look at it to be a tall sort of spike almost at the top. At the very top, you see what sort of that would have to probably fly even further than the 700 as the spike sort of goes up very sharply. But there is this at 700. There is this. What seems to be a temple, basically, that is open to the side where you would climb up. Most likely where you sort of were supposed to appear. He also sees what appears to be a circle of stones, and from in between those, the intense light is sort of shining out. He does also see that up above, now that he's this far up, he does see something that seems to be birds with large, huge birds with almost flame-like feathers flying about. They do not appear to be phoenixes, though. However, something that a non-educated man would most likely mistake for one.
So, Jonas, here's what we do. You prepare as many transmute rock to mud spells as possible, and we just topple the entire mountain.
Top of the mountain, sure.
You stand there like looking at the floating earth node.
Yeah, it would be pretty great.
The rest of it, mud. Oh, damn it. Now acolytes have to fly up there.
It would be pretty great, actually.
Any acolyte has to grow wings. True.
Anyway, you can see a pair of knowledge religion check.
We can certainly shape the rock in such a way that we will topple the spire. I mean, it will take
you do
ages,
know with
but
those checks that that actually the veil was not built; it was found.
Okay, you would need a lot of spells to do that.
Much like it was, the field's almost already prepared when the I think it was Saint Macarius who came here, a cleric. You're actually the archetypical adventuring cleric came here and found the veil, and is said to be the first one to complete the trials of the veil and bind himself to Mithrain that way.
But yeah, I really want to know if the field is coming from the fire or something else, if there is some sort of focus that could be targeted to somehow destroy it, because getting up there without our magic seems suicidal, honestly.
And yeah, but how would we do that? We can't really sneak up because only Cash and Azurius could do that, and I don't think Azurius is very good at that, and Cash is severely gimped out there, I would assume.
I can fly up. I mean, nothing stops me from flying up.
But
Cash
without getting spotted.
Cash can produce darkness around herself to, shield her from the light potentially. And is would she be blind up there? Like, would she actually be blinded?
No, I think she would be dazzled.
Oh, okay, that's not.
Oh yeah, you're blinded for the first round, then dazzled for all remaining rounds. So.
Do any of the bugbears?
So whenever she looks up there, she sort of is blind for just a few seconds. You can see only white. Then her eyes sort of try to adjust, and she's just sort of really confused, seeing weird colors everywhere and such.
What
really unpleasant.
What from darkness? Just say at her face. Would that help?
If she ties herself with a darkness spell.
It doesn't seem to. It seems to even pierce the night.
Well, that's what light usually does.
Oh, magical lights.
Let's have a look. I mean, wait, did you say up the top there was some kind of thing in between the stones you saw?
I saw in the temple, in the open temple on the side, there's a fire. Doesn't seem to be anything else in that, as it is just a huge temple room. Like
the temple room seemed to have a lot of sort of carvings and stuff like that. It was sort of hard to see because it was with the back to the light. The light is actually not from the temple. It's a little further up the peak. There's a circle of what seems to be archaic stones, and in between them comes the great light from. Yeah, most likely, that is a flame of one of the holy fires. The temple itself did seem to have a quite large sort of floating ember thing that seemed quite shiny and sort of burning in its own right.
I'm getting
a floating ember thing.
Yeah, and imagine a big piece of amber.
Okay.
But sort of molten and self-sustaining in fire.
Okay.
Looked very pretty.
Was it?
And
is
gave
it
off a nice light.
Is it like an elemental, or is it a magical stone?
It seems to be a magical stone. I mean, it's something that could be used to make an elemental, maybe. I mean,
amber elemental.
Can we have a pet elemental?
It could look sort of like a piece of dirt from the plane of fire or something like that.
But alright, but I'm trying to ascertain if it is a creature or not.
It didn't appear to be a creature.
Okay, so it's basically an ember type thing floating in the middle of the temple. Alright, so and the fire and the guardian fire or whatever it's called, it's further up the mountain, right?
Yes.
Alright, so using math and his fantastic intelligence, Zacharias should be able to suss out roughly, you know, because of the field of the spell sphere, like where is it actually centered, by basically trying to probe it from different directions to see where is the actual center. Is the center inside the temple where you climb up, or is the center?
Seems to be.
It seems to be the temple.
Yes.
The amber needs destroying, probably.
Right, that's probably that stone. It could be. Would that stone work as a magical focus? Does Zacharias think? Could you?
It could be a focus for a spell effect. He's not really that familiar with divine magic.
But Azurius know anything described.
Azurius described. I mean, many things can have focus. He does know a lot about fire, though, and he does know that when fire is relayed to an object, for example, if something were to run off the power of some holy flame, then that object itself might take on aspects of that.
Such as melting.
For example.
This will be relayed to Zacharias.
Azurius, after all, knows quite a bit about flames. And
so
he's all surrounded by it.
So say that is the focus of the spell effect. How do we get rid of it? Because
I did think about firing a dispel magic in there and see what happens.
I ask again, you are gathered together, everyone, right?
I mean, if Zacharias comes back, this is something he needs to discuss with people, yes. And like,
if you mention anything about some kind of like floating
kick down Azurius' door and say that he needs his expertise when it comes to fire.
But like, if you say there's a massive molten piece of amber, I think the door will just fly open.
What?
On the way back, he will actually notice someone looking at him.
What?
Oh no.
Ooh. Ooh.
It appears to be Isabel.
Oh.
Who has caught him by the... like her eyes are closed, as they should be at this point. But her snakes are sort of slithering. She doesn't seem to be enjoying this place very much. And she sort of approaches him.
Zacharias nods, say, "Yes, Isabel, you want something?"
Perhaps you have found a more soothing place to stay than this. The snakes sort of look at him. I would very much request the same.
Zacharias nods. That is fair, Isabel. You can stay at the Lord's mansion.
Not good. Am I to understand that you will ask for my aid whenever you require it, or should I simply spend my time doing nothing?
Zacharias considers. We will certainly ask for your expertise when we require it, Isabel. I do not suppose you know anything about the veil itself, or the phoenix, or the temple that dwells atop the spire. He sort of motions towards the thing.
He nods slightly and says, you know that I have been trapped in the old temple for very, very long. However, I do know of a phoenix in the veil.
It has been here for long, then.
Yes, it is here with its egg, I believe.
How old was Isabel?
Very old. I mean, she doesn't really seem to know.
But pre-Talangar, right? She's...
Yes.
So what would that be, history? Like how many 100 years?
Many.
So it's been with the
Then
egg
she's a
up there for
millennium.
quite some time, then.
Might be another egg.
2 eggs.
Well, no, she might have heard something from people coming into the temple. People have tried raiding her.
Well, if it's been like multiple hundreds of years, it might be a second egg. Who knows?
I know, they are super rare. Like,
The veil was known to some. We traveled here to have camp. There was a city in here, but I do not remember the name of it. The Phoenix, however, I seem to think it was Sukandra, or something alike. I think I have never seen it myself. But it is said that when the world is ready, its egg will crack and a true phoenix will appear. It shall, it is said, at least in my time, cleanse the land from all that is wicked with its holy flames.
Zacharias smiled a crooked smile. Yes, well, we will see about that. I have some plans for that egg.
She just looks at him and says, I suppose. Beyond that, I do not know much. I have been secluded for long. I would like a room, though, where I can be alone. I need to use my eyes.
Zacharias nods. Certainly, Isabel. A room will be made available in the manor. If you need anything further, feel free to ask. We are in a magnanimous mood at the moment. And as I understand it, you did well during the engagement, the battle, and as such you should be rewarded for it.
He smiles, and you do remember, as you left Sanctum, the litter, or the almost regiments of stone soldiers, standing on the way towards the watchtower. Quite a testimony to the battle.
Yes.
Almost able to see the circles where she has opened her eyes.
And I assume that these faces are actually like frozen in horror and like...
Oh yes, of course. And some of them also screaming curses and prayers and such.
Excellent.
Curses and prayers. The best combination of words.
Yeah, ghost prayers. But yeah, certainly Zacharias will tell Isabel that he will arrange for a room for her. No problem.
She will depart to that room.
Question about the golem. Can the golem climb?
You're not really sure. It's not really made for climbing. Your guess would be no.
Kyron, carry the golem up.
That could be done, I suppose.
Well, Zacharias will return to the manor, mumbling to himself.
You know, as I said, if you mention anything to do with like some huge fire-based thing up there, Azurus's room will quickly open.
Yeah, the first thing he does when he comes in is, grab one of the minions and basically tell him to prepare a room for Isabel. And when she show her to the room. and afford her any and all comforts that she might wish for. Also send out the word to the rest of the direct, henchmen of the lords that they can stay at the manor. They will have rooms designated to them.
For now, it seems that Isabel claims the bathing room.
Wonderful.
To clean all the blood and dust off of her.
Sure. But yeah, any other minions who wants to stay there is, of course, what can do. Raiju and Halfus if he wants to.
You have no idea where Raiju is.
Oh, cool.
He's out partying.
Whoa!
That's what he does.
He's
That's what he does best.
He's found Thorak.
You could most likely find out where he is, because he seems to be the center of sort of social gatherings.
Yeah. I like it.
At some point, Kyron would probably try to find out and join in, probably.
Oh, sure, he'll find a pile of what seems to be armor and scrap and such that's been built into a little sort of, a little racing where people stand here and tell stories of the battle while others drink and eat. And roar. Lots of roaring and some fighting.
Best kind of party. Kyron approves.
He can crack a few necks.
Right, one of the big bonfires. I mean, Raiju has built himself a bonfire. Generally, the captains of sort of places will do that, and the regiment will sort of stay around it. But Raiju has made his own bonfire.
But yeah, Zagreus will gather the party to discuss what he found on the mountaintop. The anti-magic field makes it almost impossible to approach. And even if we can get there, we will be so ill-equipped for the battle with the Phoenix that it would be tantamount to suicide. We must destroy that field somehow.
Did you see this? Did you witness the Phoenix while there?
No, I did not. My guess, or did I? I didn't see the Phoenix. Right?
No.
Okay, no, I did not. I suspect if it is there, it is hiding at the very peak, or its hidden nest somewhere. I did see big birds, though. Fiery, rock types, not phoenixes. More elemental birds, I should think.
Could Azuri put a pinpoint on what kind they would be?
Zagreus can certainly describe them.
He's not really sure yet. It does sound like some sort of large bird flame thing. I mean,
I can't get enough detail.
Would a planes or Arcana check help?
You can try, sure.
Which one?
That would be planes. Yeah, you know them as most likely simply as firebirds. They do have another name, but that is very long and in Ignan.
Well, I know
we won't really bother with that. Asurians might know the name, but they do come from. Usually, they live in the elemental plane of fire. They can live outside of it, though, although they generally don't want to.
You know, at the moment you finish describing it, you'll hear Azurius go for its entire name in Ignan.
They're not known as the most intelligent beings. They are sort of only just sentient, sort of in their intelligence. So they are most animals, more animals than they are sort of magical beings.
Zagreus will also describe the floating ember-like stone in the temple and suggest that is possibly. It seems that is the focus of the dispel field.
Azurius will definitely confirm what he found out with the role we did before about. It's definitely, if it is something, it would definitely make sense for something powering it. A divinely fire-based magic would definitely have some kind of appearance similar to what you've described.
The question I am thinking is how to best destroy it. Do you think sufficient force thrown at it from outside would be enough? Say, disintegration.
Would I think a disintegration would be able to break such a thing?
Could you do a religion check?
I can do a religion check.
Can do.
Because disintegration is
jeez.
religious.
Well, Zacharias will actually know this. Asurius actually isn't sure, but Zacharias would actually think, now that he, even as he asks the question, thinks about it, that these things tend to have to be either desecrated or submerged in unholy water.
Fully submerged.
Yes, that's the idea. Of course, with whatever is sort of, I mean, something that'll take a little time, really.
So a hit and run tactic will not work.
The problem is we simply cannot stand up to the Phoenix without our wards. We would be completely incinerated.
And I just noticed a new issue. Desecration one sounded doable until I thought of one thing. Unless the desecration immediately ends it, desecration will get dispelled.
That might be awkward.
It's kind of like, what?
So we bring like a huge jar of like unholy water and just plunge it in there.
I don't know. How big was it?
How big was it?
Fairly large.
It would be something we could simply carry a container to put it in. Up.
Most likely be easier to desecrate the place.
You say that, but desecration takes how long?
A standard action to cast.
Okay, standard
Well,
actions.
that should be fine.
So someone just rushes in there and desecrates it. All right.
I mean, throw me a scroll, or even just grab a minion to cast it.
you.
But even if we run in and desecrate, we will still need time to apply our magic.
It's still a hit and run tactic. Like we need to get in, desecrate it. I don't think the Phoenix can re-sanctify it, and then we can retreat.
I wonder if it'd be possible. Could we channel a scroll through Metamagic Rod?
No, I don't think so.
Damn it! I was hoping I could put it through my Reach Rod and just desecrate it from 800 foot away.
That'd be pretty good.
Desecrate snipe.
Unless you have desecrate as a spell. But I don't
You
think
would
do.
guess that before you can
I need the mnemonic vest to do
probably
that one.
interact with the thing, there might be some other defenses that you might have to deal with.